everyone. This video has been a long time coming. I actually started filming it back in October of 2024, and now here we are almost a year later. Back then, I got an email about a local mural project, and they were inviting people to come and paint a tile for it. It sounded like a fun idea, but honestly, I'm kind of a homebody, and not just that, I usually don't have like the confidence these days to show up to things like this on my own. So, of course, I figured I wasn't going to go. But as you can see, I did go, and I went with my neighbor.
Clients, I couldn't go around and set up all the tables like I did before. Like I did on Wednesday and Friday. You find that this is gonna kind of curl up on you, but as soon as you start drawing on it, it'll.
I think I should be able to do this. Okay.
How do you get it smooth?
And then just smooth it with your finger.
Oh yeah, that's
see?
that's way better.
That's what I had to do too.
Oh no, what time do I have to finish?
I don't know. I can't remember if it only goes till 4 or. I'm sure she'll let us finish.
She's like, sorry. Gotta throw it in the kiln. It's pretty cool that we get to carve and glaze.
I know, isn't that neat?
I thought I was done. I was like, oh, I gotta do this one.
No, don't you hate that? I'm like,
Oh, that's good. When I first heard about the mural project, I honestly thought it would just be simple. Like we'd show up, pick out a square tile and paint it, and that would be that. But a few days before the event, I realized we actually could design our own tile from scratch. And I racked my brain for an idea, but I just couldn't think of anything. So as you saw in the first clip, I went with the little flower image. At first, it felt kind of plain, so I made it my center image, and then I added the blossoms around it to give it more interest. And meanwhile, as I was working on mine, my neighbor was across from me designing a car. And I actually really started to get into it. I enjoyed being able to design my own tile and work with clay. And I was like, wow, I really want to do this more. When I first went into glazing, I really had no idea what I was going to do with the color, which wasn't very bright of me. I just thought purple and green would look nice together since it's like a floral tile. So I picked the orchid glaze for the background and green for the stem. What I didn't realize until the very end was that you actually have to glaze something in order for it to stay white. So I couldn't just leave the petals bare like I had planned, and I ended up having to grab this clear top coat that you put on and finish the rest at home. Looking back, when I added the clear glaze, I also brushed it into the carved lines around the petals. That meant the petals and the outline both fired as white, and it looked honestly messy. If I could go back, I would have added like that orchid color around the petals into the carved line so it looked more defined at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my big what if regret about this. If I could go back and do it, that's what I would fix.
Grouting is kind of, it's an art form.
So it was April of 2025 when we installed the mural, and of course it was 100 degrees in the afternoon. Honestly, I wouldn't have gone into that heat if I hadn't wanted to get footage for this video, but the lady who was leading the show gave us sun hats and these thick canvas aprons, and she showed us how to put the cement on the wall. At least that's what I think it is. I was actually not very good at it, and if you look at the footage, really no one was except for her. There's definitely a technique to it. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but after a while I started to really feel overheated just standing in the sun like that. It got to the point where I felt like I was gonna pass out, like I was getting heat stroke. I kind of felt like dizzy and sick. So I took off my apron and my hat and I just switched to like helping, like stirring the cement and just kind of standing nearby, kind of like avoiding responsibility. I stopped doing the cementing and started cleaning and like buffing the tiles instead, which I was like a lot better at. I got tired of doing the grout. I was like, actually, this is hard. I don't like it. So before I had seen the mural, I, in my mind, pictured this giant mural covering the whole wall. But when I saw it, I was surprised because it was a lot smaller. It was more of like an organic shape stretching across part of the wall. But I actually really loved the different tiles and how they reflected Arizona and the people who live here and like all the parts of their lives, like their animals and bicycling and all that stuff. And of course, I had to go scope out my own tile. But this was also the first time I had seen my tile since it had been fired. And I have to admit that I was disappointed. I thought it would look amazing, that it would be so beautiful and I'd be so proud. But to me, it looked so messy. Part of it was the way the cement got into the carved lines. On some tiles, we cleaned the cement out and on others we left it. But mine had like a little bit there and a little bit not there. I think it would have looked better if it was all the lines were full of cement, because then it would have like filled in that white space and given it more definition. So this footage was taken recently in August, a few months after the mural had been installed back in April, and I went back to see how it was holding up and to capture some of the tile close-ups. There are definitely some tiles I really love. They're creative and unique, and mine I still don't love. I'm still a little disappointed in how it turned out. But honestly, I really enjoyed the whole process. I wish I had a kiln at home. That sounds dangerous, I don't really. But I think it would be really fun to keep creating tiles. It was a really enjoyable experience, and I'm glad I went. I enjoyed it so much I ended up going to As You Wish again. To celebrate the mural being completed, they did have an event a few months ago, like an opening ceremony. I think it was back in April, but it was at like 8 a.m. on a Saturday. They had bagels, but it wasn't enough to tempt me out that early, even though I love bagels. If you watched to this point, thank you for sticking with me through my first mural project adventure. I'm still not in love with my own tile, but I definitely had a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I did it. So let me know if you spotted any tiles that you loved or what you thought of mine. Actually, don't tell me. Don't tell me what you thought of mine. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye!